Betong Division, an area where great battles occurred in the 19th century. In the 19th century, Sarawak was under the rule of Brunei. While the Malays settled along the coastal area, many other tribes lived in the interior, mostly in longhouses for protection, as there were inter-tribal raids and headhunting expeditions every now and then. Among the tribes, the Iban was the largest group. This is the story of one of their greatest warriors. Anak was a warrior from Serang. He was born around the year 1800. Not much is known about him in his younger days, and there is no known photo of him. He started to be well known when he was declared as a Manok Sabong. This title was bestowed to him by Dana Bayang, his mentor, who was the leading commander of the Ibans at that time. Manok Sabong literally means fighting cock, which is a title given to the leading warriors of the Ibans. His bravery and skills in fighting soon earned him the praise name Rentap, which means he who shakes the earth. Rentap would accompany Dana in their raids in southern Sarawak and all the way to the Kapuas River. The raids included Ngayau, as it was expected that warriors must collect heads in order to be respected by the community. Soon, he was elevated to the status of Tau Serang, the highest rank of a warrior. In one raid, he defeated a boat full of people from Sambas, collecting a lot of heads and goods, including a golden handled kris. This incident gained him fame and recognized as a great war chief. Eventually, he came to be the leader of the Ibans in Serang. However, things began to change with the arrival of James Brooke. James Brooke arrived in Sarawak in 1839, and within 3 years, he ruled the nation. This was because he managed to end an uprising by the people, for which the Brunei Sultan handed Sarawak to him, becoming the first white Raja in a dynasty that was to last a century. Brooke and Rentap started to clash when the former took steps to control piracy. Brooke started to control the movement of the Ibans, preventing them from sailing downriver and to the sea, thus affecting Rentap's operations. The first clash occurred in Kerangan Peris in August 1844. This was followed by clashes in Beting Maru in 1849 and in 1853 in Lintang, Batang. In these battles, Rentap showed his shrewdness in fighting, and this further enhances Rentap's reputation. Peace talks were held, but failed to achieve any breakthrough. Rentap vowed not to meet white men over peace talks anymore. With the failure of the peace talks, James Brooke launched more attacks. Assisted by his nephew Charles Brooke, in the Battle of Sungai Lang, Rentap was wounded. Together with his followers, they withdrew to Bukit Sadok. Brooke continued his quest to defeat Rentap and brought the fight to Bukit Sadok. Over the next 5 years, starting from 1857, 3 major attacks on Bukit Sadok were fiercely fought, so intense and dramatic, worthy of a Hollywood movie. Rentap built a strong fortress on the peak of Bukit Sadok, with walls made of belian wood, the hardest wood in Borneo. He was able to withstand shots from rifles and cannons. The fort itself was located on high ground with steep cliffs on 3 sides, and the only way to reach the fort was through a narrow passage through a rocky area. It was thought to be impregnable, and it was quite true, as Brooke's army failed in the first 2 attempts in 1857 and 1858. In the final attack in 1861, Charles Brooke brought along a powerful cannon they named Bujang Sadok. This cannon was specially cast in Kuching, and despite its heavy load, It was dragged and pulled up Bukit Sadok by hundreds of men until it was placed within shooting range of Rentap's fortress. Bujang Sadok provided the extra edge and turning point of the fight, as it managed to damage the walls of the fortress, rendering Rentap's cannon called Bujang Timpang Berang unusable, because the man handling Rentap's cannon was killed and his blood wet the gunpowder, rendering it unusable. Seeing the hopeless situation, Rentap and his followers evacuated. This marks the end of Rentap's fight against the White Raja. He was forced to be on the move and finally settled in Karangan Panggil. He kept his vow of never going to see another white man, nor submit to the White Raja. He passed away due to old age sometime in the 1870s, and his lumbung was placed in Bukit Sibau. His gravesite was kept a secret for fear that Brooke may take action against it. It was an open secret as many people visited the grave for years. After years of exposure to the elements, the grave was in a bad condition. In 1989, the Sarawak government gave an allocation to rebuild the lumbung and recognized his effort in fighting against the White Rajas. His remains were placed in the new lumbung in a traditional hero's burial ceremony. Today, his grave in Bukit Sibau and Bukit Sadok, where his fort was once located, are places of historical interest. And his name is immortalized in many places. Last but not least, his battle cry, Agi Edok, Agi Nglaban, is the motto of the Royal Ranger Regiment and is also often used in motivational and leadership courses. Thank you for watching this video.